Well, earlier this week we caught up with SFL play-by-play broadcaster Brett Morgan. He's a fascinating guy. Does a lot of esports commentary around, but it's a good reminder to everybody out there watching that SFL broadcasts are for anyone. If you're interested in calling a football game, we have kind of a I don't know, what would you call it, Mike? A little. It's almost like driver's ed, right? You go through a little crash course, 2-3 week course. We put you in some minor league games, some games that aren't on TV, get your feet wet, and try to get you into SFL action, and then voila, you're calling football games on national TV. Brett, one of those guys. He's a fascinating guy, and we sat down with him earlier this week to see what his story is. Take a listen. And today we have with us on the SFL Halftime Report, SFL play-by-play broadcaster Brett Morgan. Brett, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy to be here. How about you guys?
Hey, doing great, Brett. Great to have you.
Yeah, we're doing awesome. Thanks for being here, Brett. First and foremost, the SFL is not all that you call. You're involved in some other esports and some other events. What other stuff do you call? And what are your ultimate aspirations with being a play-by-play guy or a lead role guy on a broadcast?
Yeah, so I actually do commentary as my full-time job. So obviously SFL, my biggest one that I've done is sort of what I started in and where I get the most work is with Rocket League. But I do other games as well. I've cast a couple of different Call of Duty events, a couple of Valorant events, and I'm always looking to try and get more. But essentially my end goal with all of this is just to continue to at least be in some sort of position to do commentary full time, because this is just what I love to do. I love production. I love commentary. It's really what I enjoy doing.
Brett, I specifically remember the first time I heard you on the SFL broadcast. It was a Carolina-Jacksonville game last season. And it really made me stand up and pay attention to you when I did hear you. Is there anybody in particular, past or present, that you model your style or delivery after?
Yeah, actually, one of my big favorites growing up, because my family was a really big sort of college football family, is Brad Nessler. His style and delivery of a lot of, especially the SEC, because I grew up in Georgia, just sort of stuck in my brain. And I remember as a kid, looking at that and being like, wow, that's so cool. They get paid to be in this air-conditioned room watching football. That's got to be the greatest thing ever. Plus they get to talk. But then, like, as I got older and then as I started getting into commentary, I started looking back at some of his stuff, because that was what was in my mind as sort of, what commentary should sound like. And so I took some from him. Some of it's developed myself, but a lot of influence from Brad Nessler for sure.
Okay, yeah, Cam touched a little bit on your career aspirations, but the SFL specifically, what do you enjoy most about the SFL, and the league as a whole?
Well, the league as a whole is just awesome. Everybody here is super nice. The way everything is set up is awesome. But I think for me, the what I really love about it is it's just a chance to cast football. It's a chance to commentate over football. I mean, yeah, it's simulation football, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's football. These are all characters that people have actually made. And it's really, I think, one of the only times I'll ever be able to cast football unless I'm casting the physical sport itself. So just the opportunity alone is super awesome, because this is my favorite sport. So it's a win-win for me.
Yeah, there are a lot of people, and I can hear the Nessler influence in there for sure. There are a lot of people that and a lot of entities that can't provide football games to aspiring broadcasters, right? It's a really difficult sport because not a lot of schools play it, or not as many schools play it as other sports. A lot of big corporations are involved in the contracts of those sports, right? So unless you have a job with those companies, they essentially have all the games, because all the games are broadcast on national television pretty much. And so it's hard to it's hard to break into the sport, and the SFL kind of gives that opportunity to anybody out there. Our applications are open on our website, and you can be just like Brett here. But I mean, that's it, right, Brett? I mean, there's not really a place to do football commentary if you were looking.
No, there's really not. And it was it's interesting. Like esports as a whole has been really a primary way for me to even get started with commentary at all. Because, you know, before I looked at commentary as a job from the outside, but I'm like, well, how do you actually get into that though, right? Because it's like you say, there's not too many opportunities. The opportunities that are there are on national television. It's not like I can just walk up to ESPN and be like, hi, I would like to commentate for you. They're gonna be like, that's great. We'll see you later. It's so difficult to try and get in. That's why esports specifically, especially right now, is great for getting in. SFL for like people who really want to do football. Like the opportunity that is here for people trying to at least just be able to do it because they love doing it is awesome.
Last question for you, Brett. What are your favorite parts of calling SFL games, and what are the challenges? It's a very unique thing because nobody's actually playing anything. It's you're calling a simulation that's just kind of playing out real time in front of you. What is that like from a broadcasting standpoint compared to some of the other stuff that you've done?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and it's the biggest positive for me, is I can sort of I can ignore the fact that it's just essentially AI simulations going against each other. Like when I get set, and even though we're not on camera for the games I've done so far, I still turn the lights on and I sit there and I put myself in the game, in the environment. Like this is happening. I'm in the booth and we're watching it go. The challenging part, which is it's not a downside, but it is the challenging part, is, you know, the prep beforehand, making sure I know how to say the names of the players, making sure I remember which numbers they are, so that if something important happens, I don't have to quickly look over at my sheet and back. I can just try and recall it. And, you know, preparing the information of like little interesting tidbits or whatnot to sort of say during the broadcast. It's a lot more involved than other esports that I'm involved in. Stuff like Rocket League makes it easy, but I think that sort of challenge is also what makes it really fun.
Well, Brett, we're looking forward to your call this week. Sioux Falls and London this week for you on the SFL's Twitch channel. You're paired with Josh Zirkle, another one of our newer broadcasters. But Brett, we love hearing you on games, and best of luck to you in your career. And we'll do our best to get you on a platform where you can be successful. That's what the SFL is all about.
Awesome. That sounds good to me. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Brett. It was awesome. Brett's one of your favorites, right, Mike?
Yeah, it was great having Brett on. Yeah, like I said in the interview, he made me stand up at attention when I first heard him call a game. Like I said, harking me back to my days of, you know, being a kid and laying next to the radio and hearing the play-by-play. Yeah, he does a great job on the broadcast.
He's the type of person that makes the SFL great. He's got the Sioux Falls London call tomorrow on the SFL's Twitch channel.